Good day. This is Group 4, and we are presenting Outcomes 1 and 2 for Fundamentals of Communication Systems. The origin of telecommunication systems in society. Telecommunication first originated across Africa, the Americas, and certain parts of Asia by using smoke signals and drums. The first stable semaphore system appeared in Europe around the 1790s. Furthermore, it was not until the 1830s that electrical telecommunication systems began to develop. Birth of telegraph system. In 1844, Samuel Morse was successful in creating a telegraph system. The United States Postal Service operated the Pioneer Washington to Baltimore route. The very first coast-to-coast telegraph network was initiated in 1862. This soon became profitable, showing the potential of long-distance communication.
Birth of telephone. The framework of the telephone was shaped by the development of the telegraph industry and the growth of electrical manufacturing business. Based on prior work with harmonic telegraphs, the electric telephone was created in the 1870s. On both sides of the Atlantic, in the cities of Heaven and London. The first commercial telephone services were established in 1878 and 1879. In the beginning of 1878, the first telephone switchboard was installed in Haven, Connecticut, and displayed effectiveness over the individual lines between each client. Alexander Graham Bell was mainly responsible for the invention of the telephone, in which he received his first patent in March 1876. The telephone's early development was filled with technical and economical difficulty. However, technology advanced rapidly within inner-city connections, and telephone exchange began set up in every city in the United States around mid-1880s.
Telecommunication and governance. New communication and information technologies are contributing to good governance. Telecommunication technology keeps citizens informed. They are now more aware of what's going on in their environment than ever before. This pushes many governments to be more accountable and to maintain an efficient system, encouraging more political transparency and citizen participation. Telecommunication and education. Many well-established institutions are using telecommunications for distance learning programs. This provides global students with an opportunity to access high-quality education from anywhere in the world. Furthermore, these online courses offer students more flexibility if they wish to balance education pursuits with a career. Telecommunication and healthcare. The development of technology in healthcare has enabled more frequent contact between patients and healthcare providers, more timely and accurate medical monitoring, and improved management of data. The increasing level of collaboration has given patients a stronger, more consistent voice, which helps in the development of medical services. Telecommunication and environment. The changing landscape of communication has enabled us to raise greater awareness for environmental issues. Telecommunications can make a direct contribution to the implementation of environmental programs to educate and inspire change in communities.
What is data transmission? The process of sending data between two or more digital devices is known as data transmission. Analog or digital data is sent from one device to another. Telephone. The public switch telephone network is a global telephone network that handles voice-based communication. With the exception of the last link from the local telephone company to a residence, which is typically analog, today's telephone network is almost entirely digital. Dial-up lines. A dial-up line is a temporary connection that communicates across one or more analog telephone lines. A dial-up connection is permanent. Transmission of data through a dial-up connection is comparable to making a phone call. A modem on the transmitting end dials the receiving end's modem's phone number. A connection is established and data may be sent when the modem on the receiving end answers the call. The communications are terminated when either modem hangs up. Dedicated lines. A dedicated line is a form of always-on communication link that is created between two devices. Because dedicated lines provide a consistent connection, the quality and consistency of the connection on the dedicated line is better to a dial-up line. A line of sight propagation channel from a ground station to a communication satellite uplink and a back to an earth station is required for satellite transmission downlink. The satellite is normally put in a geosynchronous orbit 22,000 miles above the earth, which makes it look stationary from a location in the sky and works as a repeater.
It uses a 5-part relay system. Internet-ready device. Your computer, tablet, smartphone, smart TV, and gaming consoles are all internet-ready devices that can connect to the internet with the right provider. When you use one of the above devices to access the internet, data is sent through your modem or router. Modem/router. A modem converts data before it is sent between your internet-connected device and the satellite dish. Satellite dish. The installation of a satellite dish at home is the next phase in the relay. This dish must be positioned in such a way that it can send and receive signals to the provider's satellite in orbit. In this scenario, you may rely on a qualified technician from your area. Satellite in space. The satellite internet-capable spacecraft, nearly 22 miles above the surface of the Earth, the equator is held in place. These follow the planet's rotation. As a result, the signal relay remains constant. It allows data to be sent in both directions between your dish and the provider hub or NOC. Network Operations Center. The data from your request is sent through the above relay every time you request information from the internet, whether it's opening Facebook or streaming a video. The request is subsequently sent to the NOC via the satellite. After receiving the request, the NOC connects to the internet backbone using a larger satellite dish more than the one you have at home. Above the process, including transversing information 22,000 miles, twice occurs in fractions of a second.
Transatlantic voice communications. Although these advancements, transatlantic voice communications were unable to communicate across the Atlantic until January 7, 1927, when a radio communication was made. Even so, no cable link was around until TAT-1, which supplied 36 telephone lines on September 25, 1956. Satellite communications. The design of a satellite communication was originally suggested in a 1945 article written by Arthur C. Clarke, who proposed a geostationary orbit 22,300 miles high to ensure that the satellite is above the same path of the Earth. The world's first artificial satellite was launched into low Earth orbit in October 1957 by the Soviet Union. Mobile phones. The origin of the mobile phones may be traced back to two-way radios that were permanently integrated in vehicles such as taxicabs, police cars, and railroad trains. Later, models such as the so-called transportable or bag phones were connected with a cigarette lighter plug to be used either as a mobile two-way radio or portable phones being hooked into the telephone network. Cable television companies. In the late 1980s, cable television corporations began collaborating with major telephone companies to provide telephony services over their rapidly expanding cable networks, which included ducting beneath the streets of the United Kingdom. Cable London, one of the country's original cable operators, connected its first cable telephone subscriber around 1990.